What's good, everybody? It's SHOWTIME, and as you can tell by the title of this video, as of today I will be introducing a segment to this channel where every single Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time I will be sharing with all of you who decide to watch my videos stories of me in middle school, high school, and maybe even currently college, depending upon how much positive feedback and requests I get to make these type of videos. The only reason why I'm making this type of video in the first place is because somebody requested, who watches my videos on a regular basis, for me to make these type of videos, and it is my duty as a YouTube creator to best serve the people who enjoy watching my content, because without y'all I would not even exist. So every moment that I get to thank you all for subscribing to my channel and watching my videos, I do such. So I want to say thank you. And another reason why I decided to bring this segment onto this channel is because I feel as though it'll add more fun to this channel. It'll make the channel that much more greater, because who wants to hear constantly week in and week out of somebody speaking about what's wrong with society and what we need to do to fix it? After a while that can get very boring and very depressing. I mean, who wants to hear what's wrong with society all the time? So I feel like this would be a way to add more fun to this channel, in addition to the music that I make every now and then. So in addition to sharing with you the story times of me in my past, what I also will do is share with you what I learned from these experiences, or what I learned from these stories, and how I conquered these obstacles, so that by you listening to me share with you not only the story but how I overcame these obstacles, you can also see, well, hey, somebody else went through this and they conquered it, so I can do it too. And also, maybe by me sharing with you this information of how I overcame these obstacles, you will be able to solve the problems that you encounter in your school days, or maybe your out of school days, or just your daily life. And maybe you might actually be able to completely avoid these problems altogether. And that's really what I'm here for, to help everybody grow and progress. That's what we are aiming to do here, if you are a supporter of the movement that we have all created. So to give you a little bit of a backstory of the type of person that I was during these medieval days, as well as the types of people that I had around me, as well as the elementary school that I attended prior to transitioning into this newfound world of middle school and high school, as well as describing the middle school and high school that I did attend. So that's a lot of information, but we are going to get through it. So the type of person that I was a very shy, timid, not very outspoken type of individual. I did not like to do anything that was out of my comfort zone if I could help it, and I only spoke when I was spoken to. And the thing about that is, the person who was speaking to me had to be somebody that I knew or were friends with, or a relative of my relative. And now I just realized that by me saying a relative of my relative, that's the same thing as just being my relative. Wow. And I strongly believe that I was this type of person because I came from a very overprotective home, and on top of that I attended a private school, and within this private school we had few people attending this school, and this private school was also very religiously affiliated. It had a very strong religious foundation to it. So I grew up with the mentality that anybody who sits in a desk in the same classroom as me is my friend, because it was such a small school, and pretty much it worked like this, right? So if somebody were to have a birthday party, then that person would invite everybody in the classroom. There would be nobody left out. And if there was Valentine's Day, everybody would have a Valentine's. If somebody had a Halloween party, everybody would get invited to it. And that's just how it worked. We all were quote unquote friends because of the very close knit and small environment that we were in. So for somebody to have this type of mentality transitioning into public school, that's like the recipe for failure. But luckily I was able to take one of my lifelong friends from K5, and I'm not sure if they call K5 something completely different in many of the other countries that are watching this video, because I understand I have a large demographic of people who watch my videos. But I was able to take my friend from K5, as well as one of my girl cousins who is related to me through marriage, and even though me and her, we weren't really very coherent, we didn't really get along as well as we should have, and she had different opinions than I did and different interests than I did. Because we were cousins, that kind of just made us friends, and because we were familiar faces, this therefore made us associates as far as transitioning into middle school and high school. So the only two people that I had in my life, or familiar faces that I had transitioning into middle school and high school, was my friend, who I'll call EB for the sake of this video, as well as my female cousin, who I will nickname Mike. That nickname sounded so much better in my head. So to give you a little bit of information about the school that we were going to be attending that upcoming fall, it was a fine arts school, and this was not only a fine arts school, but it was one of, if not the best school to attend in the city of Augusta, Georgia, but it also was one of the best in the United States of America to send your kid to, as far as education is concerned. It had a very safe environment. It had a whole lot of cultures, arts, and a blend and a fusation of all of those good things, and you could talk to people of different ideologies and cultures, and as I said, artistic bounds, as well as the education there was pretty studious, if I do say so myself, after attending. So by having all of these things into one school, you can't just say, hey, I just want to attend like it's some type of fast food restaurant and you're walking in like, hey, I want the number 2 with extra fries. No, you can't do that. You have to audition to get into a school of this magnitude. So what they had you do for the audition process is they had a vase in front of you that was put on either a bar stool or a pedal stool, and you had a certain amount of time to draw that. Then they had you listen to an audio book, and you had to write down a summary of the audio book as best as you could. On top of doing that, you also had to write an essay on a given topic that they gave you, and the topic could have been what's wrong with society and what do you feel as though you can do to help correct what is wrong with society. What's your solution? Give us an essay on this question. It could be something like that. But I think the most nerve-wracking part of the audition, at least in my humble and personal experience, would be the drama part. You had to get on stage and act out something, and that was like so intimidated to me at that point, because I never wanted to do anything that was outside of my comfort zone, and I was very shy and very timid. But for that, I had to go and do that. I think I flunked that part of the audition, but everything else I was pretty much crystal clear on, and I pretty much passed. But oh, here's one more thing, and I can't believe I almost forgot to mention this part, but you needed to have a certain amount of a GPA, a very distinguished and high GPA, to even be selected to audition for the school in the first place. I forgot about that part. They had to send you an invitation to be able to audition in the first place. So they handpicked these people, and out of the people that they handpicked for the audition, after you audition, they handpicked the people who actually passed the audition. So just because you got invited to audition doesn't mean you're gonna get let into the club. What's that Chris Brown song?
I don't see how you can hate from outside of the club. You can't even get in.
But in all seriousness, that's how the audition process worked. So you know that out of the people that were actually handpicked and selected to attend the school, they had to know that they were pretty special or pretty important to have been selected to attend this school. And the majority of these people had big egos because of that, because you have to keep in mind, these people at their other school or elementary school prior to getting selected to audition and being accepted into this middle school, they had the highest of the GPAs there. They were probably the most talented person at their school. They had the most gifts and all this at their school. And like I said, they had very high academic prowess at their other schools. So all of these people have been told that they were great leading up to being selected for this audition or being selected to attend this school. So imagine these type of people that I'm describing to you being put in a very small or distinct building for years and years on end until 12th grade. It's not really that good of a thing, to be honest with you. And quite naturally, not everybody was like this, but overall, this is what pretty much everybody was like in this type of facility called school. So days after the audition, I contacted my female cousin Mike as well as EB to find out if they got accepted into the school as well. And to no shock to me, because I know that these are very bright individuals, they got accepted into the school, and I was very excited because I knew that I would have two familiar faces walking with me on this journey into an unfamiliar, very extraordinary newfound place. So once we all discovered that we had been handpicked and selected to attend this very prestigious fine arts school, all of our families went out to eat in celebration of this very victorious moment, and we went to Red Lobster. And that, I feel, is a very good stopping point for this story to pick up next week. If you truly enjoyed this story time and want to hear more, by all means like the video and please comment your thoughts and share the video. And as I've said before, and as I say always, it's J Showtime, your favorite rapper and favorite person, and if you ain't authentic, we ain't conversing. Till next time.
In our dying words, will we make the right decision? In our dying words, will we say just